Now, more on the Horn of Africa crisis. The UN Humanitarian Affairs Office says there are now 2.3 million displaced Somalis, 1.4 million within the country, and 920,000 living as refugees in Kenya, Ethiopia, Djibouti, and Yemen. Recently, there were riots in Somalia caused by the scarcity of resources for the millions of people who are in need. Somalia has been hit hard in what the UN and other groups have termed the worst drought in the Horn of Africa nation in 40 years. The drought has forced thousands into internally displaced camps in the capital, Mogadishu. The desperation of these Somalis was seen recently in Mogadishu as hundreds came out to protest the living conditions in their camps. Thousands more are flooding camps in neighboring Ethiopia and Kenya. Emotions are high among the men and women from the Sadika displaced camp, complaining about the lack of basic necessities.
We do not receive any food and water, and we also do not have any toilets to use. So we request the international community to help us as we are suffering so much here.
Famine was declared recently in Somalia's Bay region, making it the sixth area where famine has been declared since July. Somalia is at the epicenter of a hunger crisis in the Horn of Africa region, which is affecting more than 12 million people. Abdirahman Yabaro, chief of VOA's Somali service, says the reports out of Somalia support the claims of the protesters.
In general, we say that things are grave. It's getting worse day by day. The situation is still out of hand. We believe and we can see from the people we talk to that the aid the people want has not been reached there. The food is still scarce. Those who are in the IDPs in Mogadishu and other places are still complaining about getting proper food. In the government, Somali government also complain about not getting the donor money that was pledged to.
4 million Somalis, or 53% of the population, have left the region in search of food and clean water. Somalia has endured decades of conflict, and the thousands who are fleeing to the capital in search of food and shelter have to brave the ongoing clashes between the Al-Qaeda militant group Al-Shabaab and forces of the interim government. Yabarao says Somalia's refugees are leaving behind more than just their personal belongings.
Many people don't even have the basic traveling money to get there. Many of them try to walk very, very long distance, where stories after stories we're hearing that they leave some of their children behind. A family was telling us that they had 7 children, 2 of them were too weak to walk, and then they just have to leave behind.
The transitional federal government of President Sheikh Sharif Sheikh Ahmed has banned aid agencies from going into areas overrun by Al-Shabaab, though they are the worst affected areas. As a result, aid agencies are only able to get food to 1 million people since Al-Shabaab controls much of the south, where famine has been declared, and Al-Shabaab has restricted food shipments into the region. The United Nations has warned that most of southern Somalia is slipping into famine. The ongoing battles between Al-Shabaab and forces of the AU-backed interim government have compounded the problems for displaced Somalis, both inside and outside of Mogadishu.
And until Somali government get rid of Al-Shabaab, the problem will continue.
Now,